Good morning, All Saints. It's good to be with you again this week. I hope that you are well. I wonder if you've been watching the news this week. I wonder what thoughts you've had about the things that you might have seen, perhaps some famous faces that might have been inspirational. We're going to be thinking a little bit about that this week. But I've got a question for you as we start. If you think back over all the meals you have ever eaten, which is your favourite? What's the best meal you've ever eaten? Was it your best meal because you were with friends? Was it your best meal because of the food that you tasted? Was it your best meal because of the family or the people you were with or the place you were at? What's the best meal you've ever had? Have a little think. Perhaps you could let me know. Perhaps you could ask one of the adults around if they could email me and tell me what your favourite meal was. My favourite meal, I think, was the meal on my wedding day. It's a big day and we were all on a huge table and all of our family and friends were there, which was great. And we ate some really yummy food. We had moule marinière, which is mussels. Delicious. And we had boeuf bourguignon, which is like beef stew, and that was delicious. And then we had creme brulee. And because we were having we had a theme to our wedding. So it was a James Bond theme. And so next to the dessert, the creme brulee, there were little biscuits about this big, not very big. And inside them they had, with cocoa, dusted the 007 logo. It's very cool. I think about that meal all the time. It was great. Food's really important. It's really important to keep us going. We need the energy and we need all the things that are there. We need a balanced diet. My wife, Mrs. Griffith, she is a food teacher. And so she teaches at secondary school and she teaches people in food preparation and nutrition. And there's lots of good stuff about the Eat Well guide and all that you should have and what's right and so on. But it's very difficult to come by food sometimes. We're thinking this week about one verse in the Bible. One verse. So this is my Good News Bible. You've got one of these in school, in the hall. There's one on the table where we do our worships. And there's lots and lots and lots of words, hundreds and hundreds of thousands of words in this book. There's one verse. And in the Good News Bible, it says this: "The Lord has told us what is good. What he requires of us is this: to do what is just, to show constant love, and to live in humble fellowship with our God." In other versions of the Bible, that's written down as to act justly, to love mercy, and to walk humbly with God. Act justly, love mercy, and walk humbly. So what does it mean to act justly and to love mercy? Well, I think it means that when there are things that are unjust, when things that are not right, when there are things that are broken in our society, that we do something about it. Now, we started off our worship thinking about our food and our favourite meals. But for many of us, meals are really hard to come by. More and more people are using the Basics Bank in order to be able to have enough food to eat. More and more people are using soup kitchens and other sources of food and hot meals that are provided by charities because they can't afford, particularly at the moment with things difficult as a result of the COVID-19 virus. People aren't working, there's not as much money, it's very difficult. Now, do you know who this person is? This is Marcus Rashford. He's a Manchester United footballer, and he's been speaking about food poverty, about things that are unjust in our society and trying to do something about it. Have a look at this video.
Marcus, thank you so much for talking to us today. Tell me why you've written the letter that you've written, how important it is to you.
It obviously has a huge importance for me, probably on a personal level, because what families are going through now, I once had to go through that same system, and it's very difficult to find a way out. But now that I'm in this position that I'm in, it's very important for me to help the people that are struggling, and that was the main reason why the letter was written. And you know, whether the outcome is that it doesn't change or it does change, I know that I've done the right thing in trying to help these people. So
Take me back to that time that you talk about in the letter.
yeah.
How difficult were things for you as a kid when you needed free school meals?
Yeah, well, you know, my mum was a single parent. She's got 5 kids that was all living in the same house. You know, my mum, she done the best she could. I remember we used to go to a shop called Pound World, and everything was under £1. And you know, we'd sort of schedule out the week, so we'd get 7 yogurts, and you can have 1 yogurt a day, and so on. So she done the best she could within the circumstances. But there's some families out there like me that have 4 or 5 kids, so it's literally impossible for her to take control of the situation. You know, that this is all going on at a time where kids should be concentrating on schoolwork and stuff like that, and it's just crazy to think that this is still going on at this. You know, we're in 2020 now, and it's just something that I don't believe should be happening.
When you're thinking about your own childhood, growing up in Wythenshawe, actually things could have been really different for you, couldn't they?
Yeah, definitely. You know, 45% of people like me, black people in different ethnic minorities, you know, they're living in poverty, and you know, I was very close to being one of that 45%. So I understand that it could have went either way for me, and you know, I'm grateful that it went this way for me. But it doesn't make me forget about what happened in the past, and you know, I obviously want to help them people and as much as I can, and just raise awareness really, because I think some people want to help. I definitely think that people want to help, but they don't have the understanding or the knowledge behind it, and they don't know how many people it's actually affecting.
Something I wonder when I read the letter, when you were growing up, do you remember being hungry?
Yeah, of course. But I also understood. Maybe it was just part of me growing up. I just knew how hard that my mum was working. Anyway, so you know, I'd never moan, I'd never do anything. If there's food on the table, there's food on the table. If there's not, I had friends that understood my same situation, and maybe it was possible for me to go to their house, get some food or whatever.
I know that you've written this letter from the heart. Tell me what you hope you might be able to achieve.
Well, basically, I'm just hoping that the government make a U-turn on the decision to stop the free meal vouchers, and I'm just hoping they do it as soon as possible. Really, I know they've mentioned that they usually do this, you know, this time of year, summer holidays, but because of COVID, the situation's been completely different for everyone in the world. So, you know, circumstances change. So I think, you know, for at least summer holidays, they have to be willing to make that decision to go back on themselves.
Isn't that interesting? I think it's amazing that he has used his position. He remembers the situations that he was in growing up, where there wasn't enough food on the table. He's well aware of the privileged position that he is in now, but he is still looking to act justly and to love mercy, to show mercy to the people who are in need. And I believe that in doing so, he is walking humbly with God, because I think that is what we're all asked to do. It's transformational for people. The government have said that they're going to continue the free school meals for those of us who need to have free school meals. They're being continued all the way through the summer holidays, which is amazing, because now that means that those families whose children would normally have been fed at school can still be fed at home. This is so important in our society. It's so important that we find those places that are where things are not right. We do something about making them right. That's what it means to act justly. When we talk about loving mercy, that means that we are talking about being kind and generous and making sure that we show mercy to those who are in need. And that in doing that, we walk with our God along the journey of life. Now, sometimes these things feel enormous. It feels like there's great big giants of problems that we all face. And we sang a song at church on Sunday morning, the church in the basement, about how all those giants, those things that are difficult and they look too impossible to overcome. But we know that nothing is impossible with God. So we sang this song, and I hope you enjoy it. And we'll sing this together. The words will be on the screen. You'll be able to see them. Perhaps you might want to have a little dance around. You'll see the introduction that I gave on Sunday morning. And you perhaps want to clap your hands and dance around the room as you listen to this song. And then we'll come together at the end for our prayers.
So this song is called Every Giant Will Fall. And it's got a bit of the beginning that even if you don't know the song, you'll be able to join in with. So we're going to sing that a few times just to get going. You might want to clap along. You might want to dance. And let's see how we go. Jacob, give us 4 on the floor. So it goes like this.
Promised land, though there's pain within the plan, there is victory in the end. Your love is my battle cry. When my fears like Jericho build their walls around my soul, when my heart is overthrown, your love is my battle cry, the anthem for all my life. Every giant will fall, the mountains will move, every chain of the past you've broken into. All the fear, all the lies, we're singing the truth, that nothing is impossible with you. In the fight, in the wars that wage inside, though the shadows steal the light, your love is my battle cry, the anthem for all my life. We raise our anthem. Every giant will fall, the mountains will move, every chain of the past you've broken into. All the fear, all the lies, we're singing the truth, that nothing is impossible. Every giant will fall, the mountains will move, every chain of the past you've broken into. All the fear, all the lies, we're singing the truth, that nothing is impossible. Whoa. Every giant will fall, the mountains will move, every chain of the past we've broken into. All the fear, all the lies, we're singing the truth, and nothing is impossible.
So now it's time for us to pray. We will use our teaspoon prayer again. Our thank you, sorry, please prayer. If any of you have a teaspoon prayer that you want to share with me, then do please let me know. I'd love to be able to read out some of your prayers too on our worships. So do email them in, or ask one of your adults to email them to me, either a teacher or somebody in your home. That would be great. You can email vicar@eastwinchester.org, and it would be lovely to be able to read out some of your prayers as well. Our thank you, sorry, please prayers. So let's pray. Thank you, God, for all the good things that we have. Even if sometimes we don't remember how lucky we are, we're really grateful for all that we do have. So thank you for that. We are sorry that there is still injustice in the world, that there are still people and places who struggle. And please help us to act justly, to love mercy, and to walk humbly with you, our God. Amen. Amen. It's been lovely to see you this week. I hope that you have a good time over the next 7 days, and I will see you for our next worship next week. Goodbye.